When your car breaks down, it can be really stressful. And finding someone you trust to work on it can be even more stressful. You need somebody you can trust, you need somebody that knows what they're doing, and you need somebody that's not gonna rip you off. To be frank, you need somebody like me. The guys like me, we're not growing on trees. It's the #1 thing that's emailed to me is how to find a trustworthy mechanic like me. And I'll be honest, it's not easy. But in this video, I'm gonna give you the 5 things you need to look for in a trustworthy mechanic and the 5 things that are red flags and should make you run away. So the first thing you wanna look for is good reviews. And I'm not talking, I'm the owner's cousin, they gave me a free oil change, not those kind of reviews. I mean legit reviews from people who have clearly been through the automotive trenches and lived to tell the tale. So of course you wanna look for good Google reviews, but you also wanna look for minute bad ones. Because that means they actually have people that are leaving honest reviews. Because you're not gonna make everybody happy. But overall, you're looking for a 4.0 rating off of all the reviews. Anything over 4.0 is generally a good, honest shop. But the really good reviews are not gonna be found on Google. Because anybody can really say anything on Google. What you really wanna look for is people you trust already. Like your family members, your friends, the pastor, the people that you meet on a day-to-day basis at the bank or the grocery store. Whatever mechanic they say to use, and if you hear multiple people mentioning one mechanic's name, that's probably the guy you should take your car to. Another thing you want to look for in an honest mechanic is a parking lot full of cars. When there's a lot of cars on the lot, that means that mechanic is busy and a lot of people trust him with their cars, especially if they leave them here for a long time. You might say, well, why is it taking that mechanic so long to fix that car? Well, that's because he's got so many cars to fix. He's backlogged. He's got work for months. That's because people trust him, they know he'll get the job done, and they know there's nowhere better to take it. Another thing you want to see when you pull up is you want to see all the shop doors open. Now, we're closed right now, and that's because it's after 5. But during the day, these shop doors stay open. And you can hear guns going, you can hear air blowing, you can hear wrenches turning, you can hear people cursing, music playing. It's all going on inside the shop. That's what you will see when you pull up to a trustworthy mechanic. You're gonna see activity going on in the garage. Heck, when you go to talk to the mechanic, he's probably gonna be fistful in some grease somewhere, and he's gonna kind of look like he doesn't really have time to talk to you. That's because he doesn't. But if he's a trustworthy and honest mechanic, he'll stop and take the time to discuss what you got going on and what your problem is. Cool. We'll be with you in 1 second. Hold on. You know, there's an old saying in the mechanic industry, never trust a mechanic without a tattoo. Now, I don't completely believe that because I don't have any tattoos and I'm a trustworthy mechanic. But there is some truth to that. You know, you want to see him with a little bit of grime and grit underneath his fingernails. You want him to be rough around the edges. Not all mechanics are going to be nice to you, and that's because they're dealing with people's problems all day. And when you come up to them with your problem, you're just giving him another thing to do. And while they may be a little rough around the edges, and they may act like they don't want to talk to you at first, if they take the time to talk to you and they're honest with you, they're an honest mechanic. And they'll probably start speaking in some Chinese gibberish that you don't understand, talking about pinion seals, pinion shafts, gears, differentials, bearing clearance, whatever you got going on, they'll start speaking gibberish that'll make your head spin. They're not gonna have anything to hide. That's part of allowing them to talk to you. That's part of having the doors open. That's a part of bringing people in the shop, showing them their bad part, showing them what failed, and showing them what you're gonna do to fix it. So always ask to see your broken part. And if they can't show it to you, take it to a different mechanic. Because I never have anything to hide when I'm fixing your car. And the biggest thing scam mechanics will do is they'll take a manifold like this that's leaking because of a bad gasket and tell you gotta replace the whole thing. And when the job's over, they won't even show you the cracked manifold. That's not what trustworthy mechanics do. We'll show you the part that fails. I don't really care if you like it or not. And a good mechanic, he's not going to really care if you let him fix your car or not. After all, they got a lot full of problems, a lot full of cars that they got to get fixed. And your problem is just another one to add to the list. So if you want to do it, leave it here and we'll get it fixed. If not, see you later. Now let's talk about the red flags, the people that you want to run away from. And the first one is Mr. Clean Cut Yes Man. He's got all these clean hands. Doesn't look like he's touched the car all day, and he's agreeing with everything you say. See, a good honest mechanic, they're not just going to agree with you. They'll challenge you on what they think is wrong. And they're always going to want to re-diagnose it. No matter how many times you got to diagnose, no matter how much mechanical experience you have, they're going to want to re-look at the problem to make sure what they're doing is actually going to fix the car. They're not just going to take your word for it. And if they do, they're probably just trying to take your money because you already think it's the problem. So let's just go with it and take their money, right? I don't know, man. I think I might need a battery. Even though this cable end looks like it's bad, maybe I should just replace the whole battery. Yeah, man, go for it. We can get you a battery for $200. That's what a yes man mechanic will do. He'll just say yes to everything you think is wrong. That way he can keep running the tab up on your bill and get a big old invoice he can cash into the bank. Now, one of the biggest red flags is empty bays and an empty lot. That means nobody trusts that mechanic. You may think, oh, they're getting work out really quick, but any mechanic that's doing any type of powertrain or electrical work and they're turning cars over really quick doesn't sound right to me. Look here, I'll be honest with you. With the way cars are made nowadays, nothing is a 5 to 15 minute fix. Nothing. Those 5-minute oil change places, you gotta be careful with them. Because if people go too quick, that's when they make mistakes. And a good mechanic, they always wanna take their time. And that's why their lot is always full of cars, because they're taking their time and they're fixing it right. If you have a lot that's not full of cars, either one or two things is going on. They're not getting any work because nobody trusts them, and that's probably the main thing that's going on. Or two, they're just scamming people, getting cars in and out real quick and collecting any fast cash they can. And that's why empty shops, empty bays, and empty lots is a red flag, especially if you're looking for a powertrain fix. You want a lot of cars there. That means they got a lot of problems they're fixing for people. And it also means they're probably taking their time and they're doing it right. And they're not just slapping junkyard parts in there or slapping Band-Aid fixes on stuff and getting it out of there. They want to make sure that car stays on the road. And that's the type of mechanic you want. Now, another bad sign is a gated lot, a full gated lot at that. Now, a lot of shops have a partially gated lot to protect their valuable customer cars. And the only reason you would want to keep people out as a mechanic is because you got enemies. And as a mechanic, you don't make enemies helping people out. You make enemies hurting people. You know, there is a few exceptions to this rule when there's a mechanic shop in a bad neighborhood. But even in the bad neighborhoods, if the mechanic takes care of the neighborhood will take care of the mechanic. In addition to a full gated lot, you also don't want all the bay doors closed. Now this kind of goes hand in hand with them not showing you your broken part. If they got bay doors closed, unless they have AC and it's 100 degrees outside, they're probably trying to hide something. The only reason you should have bay doors closed if it's under 50 degrees or if it's over 90 degrees. Otherwise, the bay doors should be open in a shop. Even if they have nice AC inside the shop, on a 74-degree day, a good mechanic wants to have the bay doors open, let the fresh air in, let the sunshine in, let the people in, let them know that he's open for business and that he's in here and he's getting the job done, he's working on cars. You should be an open door mechanic if you're honest. You should be able to let people in, let them see the mess that you have, let them see all the parts that you got everywhere, because you've been working hard. Most honest mechanics are gonna be like me. They're gonna have stuff everywhere, they're gonna have cars everywhere, they're gonna have dirt everywhere, they're gonna stay dirty, they're gonna be making things happen no matter what the cost or no matter how hard it is. And first and foremost, they're gonna be concerned about your problem and nothing else. If you tell them, hey, I got an alternator problem, they're not going to start the ticket off by saying, oh, he might need an oil change. They're going to look at your alternator and say, hey man, you need that alternator, definitely. And you might also want to get an oil change at some point. Any mechanic that just ignores the original problem you came in with and tells you you need something else, unless it's related to that problem and they could show you proof where it's related, they're trying to scam you out of getting some more money. You know, this job is not that easy, and diagnosing is the hardest part. And that's where most people say mechanics are scammers. They'll say, I brought my car in for so-and-so, they put this on and it didn't fix my problem. And that might not be the mechanic's fault. It may just be, hey, usually this part fails, I put this part on and it didn't work. And that's part of the automotive industry nowadays, folks. There's so many things that can go wrong. There's so many different cars. There's so many different problems with all those different cars. It's hard to keep track of everything and hard to know exactly what's wrong unless you're a good, honest mechanic. And remember, a good mechanic, he just doesn't fix cars, he solves your problem. Sometimes with grease under his fingernail, sometimes with sarcasm, but always with honesty. So the next time your ride gives up on you, look for these things when you're looking for an honest mechanic. And watch out for the red flags so you don't get scammed. Or you can just email me at justcallmeeddie1@gmail.com and I'll do the best I can to help you out with your problem. And remember, whatever you do, however you do it, make sure you work hard, make sure you play hard, and most importantly, make sure you stay dirty and subscribe. You can just call me Eddie.